the Mets are down 2-0 going into top of the eighth. I feel bad. I understand why you thought we were cooked. It felt cooked. It felt normal.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go quietly in the top of the eighth, 1-2-3. That made it feel more normal. Edwin Diaz, they did bring him in just to try to keep it manageable. He was clean in the bottom of the eighth. So it was 2-0 heading to the top of the ninth with MVP candidate Francisco Lindor leading off. He walked. Great at bat. Then Mark Vientos, he strikes out. Then Brandon Nimmo singles to right. And then with Nimmo on first and Lindor on third, Pete Alonso comes to the plate representing, in this moment, the go-ahead run and what could have theoretically been his final at-bat as a Met. Before we watch this, I want to make sure you understand the stakes here. This is playoff baseball. It's an elimination game. The Mets are down 2. We're in the ninth, and Pete Alonso is at the plate representing the go-ahead run in a contract year. If he gets out, the season likely ends last night in Milwaukee. Then he goes into free agency. Then who knows where he's playing next season, because if the Mets considered him a can't-lose player, they would have likely already reached an agreement with him on a long-term deal. So those are the stakes when he walks into this box last night in the ninth. Now, let's watch it together.
The pitch. Swing and a ball drilled. Right field. Frelick back. At the wall. Out of here! It's out of here! Alonso, an opposite field home run, and the Mets had the lead. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, takes Devin Williams deep. And here in the ninth, the comeback kids have done it again. It's 3-2 Mets.
LGM, BBB, let me hear you say it. LGM.
LGM, that was awesome. I mean, I got no stakes in any of this, but I even jumped up off the couch when that happened, because that was sick. You don't get that kind of stuff that often.
Ooh, buddy, you don't get that thing specifically ever until last night. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But there's another angle that I love. MLB game, they got cameras everywhere. And there's an angle from basically field level that keeps the camera on Pete the entire time. It does not follow the ball. Like that shot, live from the telecast follows the ball. They keep the camera on Pete. And whether you knew it was gone off the bat or I knew it was gone off the bat, it becomes quite clear that he knew it was gone off the bat. Let's watch that one together. It's fun.
Over the fence power. And look at his head position. He just flicked it and yelled, knowing he got all of it.
Wow. Alonso the homer, and this place.
So awesome. So Pete Alonso, for the unprecedented stuff that I mentioned, with that swing, he became the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit a go-ahead home run while trailing in the ninth or later of a winner-take-all postseason game. So there's a lot of caveats there, but still, what's true is true. Nobody had ever done in the history of Major League Baseball what Pete Alonso did last night until Pete Alonso did it last night. History made. And he really might have not only changed a season, but perhaps his entire life. Think about this. Again, he's headed into free agency. I'm not in that clubhouse, but there's a lot of reporting coming out of that clubhouse that suggests that, maybe the Mets are ready to move on rather than commit the type of money and years it's going to take to keep Pete Alonso in Queens. So when he steps to the plate in the ninth inning, it's not just all the normal pressure of I'm up, game on the line, I'm up top of the ninth, I'm up in an elimination game, I'm up with the whole world watching. That's normal postseason baseball stuff. It happens to people all the time, and it is an immense amount of pressure. But what he was dealing with last night was something entirely different, because on top of everything I just laid out, he's also maybe playing for where are you going to spend the next 6 years of your life? How is your career going to unfold? Quite literally, where are you going to live? Because let's just say there's an alternate reality where, he swings at ball 4 strike 3 last night. And then, what happens next is a ground out to second, and the ball game is over. The Brewers win. The Mets are eliminated. Pete Alonso probably didn't show up in this postseason, and now the Mets owner is at least not compelled to, we can't lose this guy, because the last thing you just experienced with this guy was a disappointment. As it is, the most recent thing you just experienced with this guy is one of the greatest postseason home runs in baseball history, one of the greatest swings of the bat in Mets history. And there's a sentiment among some Mets fans today, after what happened last night, that regardless of where this goes now, next series against the Phillies, you just can't let that guy get out of here. You can't let Pete Alonso not be a Met. So he really might have, I don't want to put a specific number on it, but whatever contract the Mets were planning to put on the table and say, hey, buddy, this is our final offer, I bet you it is worth more today than it would have been worth if he would have struck out or got out in the ninth last night. So again, did he change the Mets season? Of course. Did he change the MLB playoffs? Undeniably. He also might have quite literally changed his life with that swing of the bat. And it might really play a significant role in where he ends up living and playing for the next 4, 5, 6, or who knows, maybe even longer years. So Pete gets that, but there's still a bottom of the ninth. You got to close this out. Drew Peterson gets the ninth for the Mets. He has a 2-run cushion at that lead because the Mets did add an insurance run to turn that 3-2 lead into a 4-2 lead. Peterson only needed 8 pitches to end it, so the Mets win it 4-2, advance to the NLDS. I love this moment. So last night, after it's over, they obviously go straight to SportsCenter. Our buddy Michael Eaves, who joins us every Monday here on the show, he's in studio with a couple of other people, and they're interviewing Francisco Lindor live from the field. And at some point, Lindor, who is the captain of the team, recognizes that, the team is taking a team picture, to have this forever. And he cuts the interview short. And I just like the way all of this unfolded. Watch it with me.
What happens?
If you see over there, I'm about to take a team picture. I got to go. I love you guys.
Go do it. Take your team picture.
Met Station, we did it. I love you guys.
Congrats, Frankie.
That's awesome. Francisco Lindor, everyone, team pictures. We have to obviously let him go. Sort of a big deal.
You can tell he's like, hey, something's going on behind me. I need to go out there for that.
I mean, honestly, I've been broken up with for a lot worse reasons.
That's my favorite part.
So good.
I got a little guy who plays baseball, and, sometimes they win. And they take team pictures, and they get their little rings that they love, and they sit just like that, pose just like that, and they act just like that. They jump around, and they're excited, and they hug each other. And I just love the idea of a bunch of grown-up millionaires being that genuinely excited about what had just happened, showing the same level of enthusiasm that my 7-year-old shows when something goes well for he and his teammates on a baseball field, showing the same kind of enthusiasm that I assume they all showed at one point in their amateur careers. Then it becomes your job. It's work. You're getting criticized in a major way when things don't go well. That can lead to some weird feelings. And you just see it every single day. Guys lose that joy that they had once upon a time. There is a time in every one of those dudes' lives where if you told them you're going to get to play baseball for a living, they'd say that'd be the most amazing thing in the world. I'd never have a bad day. In reality, I don't care what you do or what dream you achieve, sometimes you're going to have bad days. And you're not always going to feel as excited about this thing that you were once super excited about. It just goes away for all of us. If you'd have told me when I was a kid I would get to go to a Duke, North Carolina basketball game at Cameron Indoor, I'd have said, oh, my God, that's amazing. Now I've been to so many of them, I don't even really care. I don't have, I'll go again if somebody needs me there, but whatever. It doesn't mean as much to me now as it meant to me, the idea of it once upon a time, because, to complete the analogy, I'm a professional now in this. It's what I do for a living. It is my job. It's not everybody's job to go to basketball games. It's actually my job in some ways to go to basketball games. So I don't get as fired up about it as I used to. baseball players, I'm certain, go through the same type of thing. But, buddy, there was none of it visible in that post-game celebration afterwards. I just liked the way Lindor ran through his team, stood in front of all of them. You can see them yelling at him enthusiastically, him yelling back at them enthusiastically. It looked like Little League World Series, except it was the New York Mets. Just an awesome night. I won't say every part of it was awesome because bottom of the 7th, I wasn't feeling so great. But all's well that ends well. The Mets advance to a series now. NLDS starts Saturday against the Phillies.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.